Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new standards of excellence.
Yes.
Say yes to engaging reportage with a difference.
Yes.
Introducing Yes International Magazine. The time to say yes to your dreams and aspirations is here.
Now, of all the stories that you wrote in your active days, which is the most memorable and why? All the stories you wrote. We have talked about interview. Let us talk about one story that you wrote that you still remember that has remained memorable.
There are many stories, but let me see.
Yes.
Let me talk about one. Not necessarily the most memorable, but maybe one I can just put down. You remember during the Shagari days, I was at the Guardian there, and there was, well, I mean, this story, it has a lot of lessons, especially for journalists. There was some problem at the Nigerian Television Authority. Dr. Walter of Konago, who was my lecturer in Unilag, was then Director General. He had been appointed to replace Engineer Vincent Madu. So he was the Director General, and he was having some problems with some of his co-directors. And the MPN big wigs, some of them couldn't stand him, and they were looking for a way to kick him out of office. So when I go over to talk with Dr. Stanley Makebu, who was his very good friend, and they decided that they needed to bring out some revelations about a particular sector. They didn't give me all those details then. I was one of their most enterprising reporters then, so they assigned me to that story. And in the process of investigating the story, I stumbled on a number of things. One, I found out that the director had a police record. It was one of the top, I don't want to mention the name of the bank, one of the top 3 banks. When we talk about first, the top 3 banks, then the 80s, 83. So he was a director. There was a case over fraud, and at a point, the case was inconclusive. He was discharged of evidence, but he was not acquitted. Justice Lake was the judge in charge of the case, and so I think Ofonagoro and Makebu wanted the case to reopen. They made overtures to the IG. It was Muhammadu Bambo there. You see a lot of things going on, and of course, doing the run, and the big wigs were pulling the strings behind this. So I now had to go to the local. So again, my friend that I mentioned earlier, that I went with me to W. Fela.
Yes.
He was a lawyer in Western House, and I needed some records to support. So I went to him, and he took me to the Lagos High Court. That was the first time I went. People realized that there was a basement under that court. And of course, there were tons of records, court records, dating to maybe early 1900, you know. Anyway, we gave a clerk some money and told him the street number of the file. Anyway, after 2-3 days, the clerk fished out what we were looking for.
The file.
We went through the file, and that was where we were able to ascertain that they wanted the director of NTA, who was a former director of a bank, executive director of a bank. We were able to establish that his case, he was discharged, not acquitted. And he was acquitted to bail in respect of some other case. But he jumped bail. when we found all this was massive. So I went and I wrote the story, and I remember the headline: wanted bank director, wanted banker made NTA director.
Wow.
The following day, the man stormed Champions, headquarters of the Guardian, asking who Lanre Idowu. On the incident, I was leaving for an assignment, and I met him in the staircase. He asked me for the editor's office. I pointed to him. I didn't know who he was. Don't forget, I was dealing with
for you.
That I had the gist that one man came, he was making so much noise, threatening to deal with the Guardian, close the Guardian down, that by the time he slammed the Guardian, libel suit, the Guardian would never get out of it. Anyway, he disputed one or two things in the story. And so when I came back the following day, I was asked, I was sent the letter that his lawyers have written. And then my bosses now said, well, you have to get the this story. This story after all. I was saying, is this my story now? It's supposed to be our story now. You guys assigned me to do it. So I was put off every other assignment that I was working on. So for the next 1 week, I was weeks of Lagos looking for information. And in the process, I landed, and I saw an address in the court file. So I went to that address. I found out that somebody who stood shorty for the banker director lived a particular address on Princess Street in Lagos. And interestingly, the guy had my surname. He was also Mr. So I went there pretending to be a relation of Mr. saying that I was looking for him in his apartment. And I saw that there were piles of letters on his door. So I picked it, I looked at them. I saw one that looked official. I opened it. It was from an insurance company that said they were asking for some beneficiaries, something to, it was something that receipt for payment of the premium on his policy. So nobody could tell me exactly where man was, but somebody now said to me, I think the man is dead, though. Dead.
Wow.
I think he's dead. But he has paid, his rent is still on. That's why they have not given the apartment to another person.
Another person. Wow.
I went to the insurance company somewhere around Broad Street, and I met the manager in charge of clothes. And I said I was a Mr. Idowu, and I have come in respect of this letter that they sent. I said, oh, is that your daddy? No. He said, because the man we are is dead, and he has a policy with us. We are looking for his beneficiaries. The address is Princess, and I said I was from Princess. That this letter I saw it there. So the person asked me, a woman, that, and so what did I want from there? I said I was looking for the man, and that I don't know that I was a reporter, and that I was working on a story involving the man, and I was interested in. I thought he would be able to supply a lot of things. So the woman was very cooperative. She read the file. I was able to do a follow to the story, and Gambo delivered to Dr. Makebu and Dr. Fanagoro, and got the man. They are in court. The whole case, for the man was discharged, not acquitted. So which meant that in light of fresh information, they could always reopen that case. So the case was reopened. And then I was in court with the photographer, everybody, and the guy saw me. At that time, he had known who I was. He saw me, looked at me, the look I saw on his face. I said, "This guy catch me, he beat me up." So as we came out of the court, the photographer started clicking. So in a sense, we put on. He came from the court to campus to talk to our bosses, our editors, that they should
Tampa, take it easy with him.
That everything will be sorted out.
Interesting. Interesting.
I know his name, but I don't want to mention it.
It's all right, sir. Interesting. Now, what makes a good story, and how does a journalist or a reporter cultivate the habit of writing well?
Well, writing well begins from how you frame what you are looking for. What story are you trying to tell? What is the story about? For instance, if you observe that there have been growing incidences of gas explosion in the country, and that has been happening. First of all, you want to find out some information where has it happened. You want to know the casualties. You need all the statistics. And then, if there is any need, there is any explanation on the responsible. You begin to look at them and see if there are some connected dots. Are there similar things and how those things happen? Did they happen in hotels? Did they happen? What kind of perspectives? Where did they happen? Where was this? You want to understand the supply chain. Where did the gas supply come from? And then the level of damage. How many people survived in each case? In what kind of homes? What kind of safety? How long will the recovery take? So these are leads that you need to find some answers to them. As you are doing this, you have not written, but you are writing it in your head, and you begin to follow the lead. You follow as you ask questions. You follow the lead. What are the findings? Now, as you go on, the story will begin to take shape. You begin to take shape on what you really want to. What does the evidence lead you to see? And then another angle to it would be, for instance, the response, fire response. What is the state of our fire brigades in an emergency? How many fire brigade stations do we even have in the country? How many are in Kenya? How many are in Koyi? So if there is a repeat occurrence, how are they able to respond to these challenges? So you need a very active mind. You need a probing mind, a mind that continues to ask questions, continues to ask why, how, why. As you answer why, more questions will be raised. And by the time you are able to answer them satisfactorily, you begin to see the emergence of your story. It may not be one story, it may be a series of stories that will come out of it. And depending on the publication you work for, if it's a daily, then you can decide to spread it out. If it's a weekly, you can decide to do a big, full-length, feature. And then, what was the second leg of your question?
How does the reporter cultivate the habit of writing well?
Well, you first of all, you need to read. You need to read very well. You need to understand. You study styles. You study the way people package reports. You need to read well. You need to have a good command of the language to use, whatever language you write, English, Yoruba, or Igbo, or whatever. You also you must also look at how does the story benefit the end user, the person who is going to read it. Why should I read this story? What do I stand to gain from it? What do I learn from it? So if I start reading you and the intro is flat, it's not likely you will put anybody's interest that way. So you need to find a peg to put that line that will attract the reader's attention or hold the viewer's attention, if it is a television video. So it's when you are able to get that dramatic or that effective intro, then you need to build up the other details related to the story and sustain it. As you transit from one paragraph to the other, you must ensure that sustain, and then you end it well. End it well in the sense that the person reading knows that this has been worth my while. Oh, I've learned. I enjoy the prose. I enjoy the graphic imagery of the report. I can see. I'm talking of newspaper now. I can imagine. I can picture what the reporter is saying. But if you do it in a deadpan prose, by the time you read 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, you just want to move on to something. Because food has spoiled for choice. There are so many things to eat, and you don't want to waste time reading something that is boring.
Interesting. Now, what makes a good interview?
What makes a good interview?
Yes.
Mastery of the subject, mastery of the person you are interviewing. You must be ready for. You must do some research on the subject matter, and then you must be able to draw. There are different interviewees. There are different people are reluctant to talk, so you have to, draw them. Some really, they are enthusiasts. They are willing to grant you interview and provide answer to whatever question you ask. So first of all, you need to understand the subject matter. What do you want to talk about? What is the subject matter? Then the person you are interviewing, you also need to be able to understand the person and be able to engage him or her. Ask the right questions so that you can elicit the insights that you, and then you have the opportunity to follow up, and as you follow up, other things will begin to open up. Then you have a good interview.
What makes a good newspaper?
What makes a good newspaper?
Yes, sir.
It must be a paper that has a clear focus. What is the editorial mission of the publication? What kind of publication is it? Is it about lifestyle? Is it about sports? Is it about general news? Is it about the economy? Is it about philately, sports, about stamps? You can have a publication addressing whatever subject. So whatever subject that publication addresses, it must do it in an authoritative manner. It must do it in a way that conveys understanding, that conveys mastery of the subject matter. And it must have a style that is identified with the publication, a style that appeals to that audience. It means that you must know your audience, you must know your market, you must know how to talk to them. Don't talk above them. You must be able to talk with them, you know. So when you put all these things in place, and of course, you cannot rule out the power of aesthetics, the power of design. It must be visually appealing. You want to hold something that is interesting. You don't want something looking cluttered. And then you look at the headlines, they are clashing, they are not attractive. You just dump it. You must have good design. The text must be fine, but the content too must be rich. Content must be engaging.
Interesting. Now, what makes a good columnist?
A good columnist. Let's look at column writing generally. Column writing, in the past, you don't start journalism as a columnist. I know a good number of people who started as columnists. You don't start as a columnist because when you write a column, the expectation is that you are bringing a unique perspective to whatever the subject of the column is. It helps if you have been a reporter, you've been around, you've cultivated contacts, you've moved around, you understand the news process very well. The business of it's the opinion of journalism. The other one being the reporting. The reporting, that's why you have the reporters like that. But as a columnist, you are an individual opinion writer. You are supposed to bring informed opinion, informed comments to bear on subject of discourse of the day. That's why I said it helps when you have a mastery of the subject. You have reported, or you have worked in a particular, let's say insurance. You've been an insurance executive for a year, and over time you have a level writing, and you've been given the responsibility to write a column on this. You know that the way you will treat issues, your experience, your knowledge, your mastery of the subject will be on display. And then the way you column writing also has style. The style that you employ. We talk about essential steps. Let me see if I can remember. That is the 6 qualities that you look for in the book column. You talk about the subject matter. It's important. You talk about the significance of subject, of what you are talking about. You talk about the substance. You talk about style. You talk about the structure. And then the last one, you talk about the size. The size has to do with the length. And columnists will write on the back page of the particular newspaper. We will finish everything on that part. Then they will continue it inside. I'm not a fan of that. I believe whatever you want to say, you want to say under 1,000 words. Really, 800 to 900 words. Again, when you have reached a particular height, you can indulge in that, but it should not be the exception. That's for me. So I've told you 6 qualities we call essential sextet of column writing. But most importantly, mastery of the style.
Okay, sir. Now, I'm going to ask you a somehow funny question, but I know you're equal to the task. Any reporter who is desirous, of winning a Dame award, what must the person do?
There are some things that the Dame judges look for in the reporting entries.